All right, this is number 15 on page 761, and this is probably the more complicated of the problems in this set, but it's easier to work through if you organize your work maybe in a little two-way table. This is about three people and their probability of asking Frank to be their tennis partner. So we're told in the original problem that Carla, there's a 1 out of 4 chance that Carla will ask him to be a partner, 1 out of 3 chance that Juan will ask him to be a partner, and the probability that Roger asks is 3/4. So, it's clear these two don't have much confidence in Frank, and Roger, must be his buddy or something. So this is going to involve a combination of them asking and then certain people maybe not asking. So let's figure out the complement to each of these. Carla's either going to ask him yes or no. So these two have to add to 1, right? So 1 minus 1/4, there's a 3 out of 4 chance she will not ask him. Whereas Juan is 1 minus 1/3 or 2 out of 3 probability that he will not be asked by Juan. And for Roger, only a 1 out of 4, 1 minus 3/4, that's the probability that Roger will not ask Frank to be his partner. So first of all, the probability that both Carla and Juan ask him will be the product of this. It's going to be the probability that Carla asks him multiplied by the probability that Juan does. And we don't know about Roger. We're just talking about no matter what Roger does, what's just the probability that these two ask him. So when we multiply together 1/4 by 1/3, we get a 1 out of 12 probability. So in part B, we're supposed to find the probability that Juan and Roger do ask him, but Carla does not. So specifically, we know these two do and that Carla does not. So the complement, Carla asking him. So this would be the probability of the probability of Juan multiplied by the probability of Roger both asking, multiplied by the probability of not Carla not asking. So this would be 1/3 times 3/4 for Roger asking, and then Carla not asking is also 3/4. So that is, 9 out of, well, maybe these 3's cancel, so 3 out of 16. 3/16. So anyway, we can kind of understand these. If Carla and Juan each only have a 1/4 and a 1/3 probability of asking Frank, it's not likely he's going to be picked. That's why the probability 1 out of 12 is so low here. This is slightly higher, probability that when we further say, well, these two will, because Roger's got a pretty good shot of asking, but then again, Carla not asking, also a pretty good shot. Okay, so the probability that 2 or more ask. This is where we should think, well, possibly it would just take Roger and then one of these two. So the probability that 2 or more ask is either different combinations of the 2 of these 3 or all 3. So it could be that we say, let's go one at a time for not asking. Say Carla does, Juan does, but Roger does not. And we're going to add to that the probability that, okay, Carla does, Juan does not, but Roger does. And then the probability that maybe Carla is the one who does not of the 3, and Juan and Roger do. And then there's the probability 2 or more means either 2 or 3. So these ones all involve 2 of the 3 asking Frank to be their partner. And the last one, what if all 3 do? So that would be probability of all 3, Carla, Juan, and Roger. So then we've got a lot of little, so this is going to be 1/4 times 1/3 times not Roger, so 1/4. And this will be 1/4 times not Juan, so 2/3 times 3/4 for Roger, plus this will be not Carla, so 3/4 times 1/3 times 3/4 for Roger does, and then if they all 3 do, 1/4 times 1/3 times 3/4. So then these are all, just leave them in a common denominator of 4 times 3 times 4, which is over 48. So this is going to be 1/48, 1/48, 1/48 plus 6/48 plus 9/48, oops, plus this would be 3/48. So 1 plus 6, 7, plus 3, 19 over 48. So getting up, what percentage is that? 19 divided by 48, 39, 40%, getting kind of a 40% chance that 2 or more will ask. The probability that at least one asks. Now that's got to be pretty good. Because of Roger here being 3 out of 4 probability that he will, the probability of at least one of them. And so the easiest way to think of this is, well, what's the opposite of one, at least one? Well, the opposite of at least one is no one. So what we could do is we can take 1 minus the probability that no one asks. And the probability that no one asks is pretty easy. That's the product of these 3 probabilities. So I could say 1 minus, and this would be 3/4 that Carla doesn't ask, times 2/3 that Juan doesn't, times 1/4 that Roger doesn't. So 1 minus, this is 6 over 48, which is an 8. 1 minus 1/8, or 7 out of 8 is the probability that at least one person will ask Frank to be their tennis partner, and that just makes us feel better for Frank. And that's it.